Hudson County View, live and uncut. I'm your host, or what you see is what you get, and what you don't is better yet, John Arhitis. And of course, we're going to talk about the latest and greatest in Hudson County news, as we do every week. So certainly there's been a lot going on in Bayonne. We're going to discuss what's happening in the Peninsula City as they enter their election year. Those municipal elections are in May of 2022. So first, we're going to talk about a vendor that received a $4 million waste collection contract after donating a $64,000 pickup truck. However, according to his counsel and the law director, that's been rescinded, though the council president isn't so sure about that. So if you missed that one, we're going to clue you in on what's happening there. We also saw that Bayonne Mayor Jimmy Davis was elected to another term as the chairman of their local Democratic Municipal Committee. He was expecting to be challenged by Mary Jane Desmond, and that just wasn't meant to be. So again, if you missed that, we're going to clue you in on what happened there. In Jersey City, we're going to tell you what happened at the planning board, but the long story short is it looks like Jersey City is going to be pretty aggressive in what they allow with legal marijuana. Consumption lounges are very much on the table, so all the details there. We're also going to talk about what's happening with those Jersey City municipal elections coming up this fall. So we have two new candidates, one in Ward F, one at large. Certainly we want to talk about that at length as well. And as every week, I'm joined with a guest. Today, I'm with Hudson County Chronicles publisher Bruce Alston, and I imagine we're going to touch on all the subjects I mentioned and more right after we take a break from our sponsors.
Cutting-edge surgical care is right here in Secaucus.
Robotic surgery is safer.
Shorter hospital stays.
Smaller abdominal incisions, the size of an M&M. Here at Hudson Regional, we provide world-class robotic surgical care.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunnelly Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunnelly Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
Hudson County View, live and uncut. John Arhitis, and as I just mentioned a few moments ago today, I'm joined with Hudson County Chronicles publisher Bruce Alston. Bruce, thanks for coming in. Always a pleasure.
No problem, John. Good pleasure to be here.
Great. So, Bruce, I mean, like I just mentioned at the top of the hour here, we got a whole ton to talk about.
Ton of stuff to talk about.
Let's start with the Peninsula City. So, you know, looks like Jimmy Davis has made some bold moves, I think it's fair to say, in recent weeks. You know, you were the first to report, and, you know, good on you to talk about the Assembly Majority Whip, Nick Stravellani getting tossed off the line. Obviously that happened. And now we're hearing multiple reports while the mayor has refuted them, or at least disputed, I guess is probably a better word. It looks like the council president of the second ward councilman will not be a part of his re-election team. And now at the the reorganization last night, he got rid of Erica Daughtry, who is a staffer for Congressman Series.
So exactly, and she's been a strong supporter of Davis over the years. You know, so that lets you know something's definitely brewing in Bayonne. You know, I mean, 2 terms in Bayonne is like a lifetime. Jimmy the Mayor Davis going for a 3rd term. I mean, he had to be expected to be challenged, and as we both see, it seems like there's a war going on between him and the congressman, him and Congress areas, and Menendez. I think they were very unhappy that he let go of Assembly and Chivarati, right? It's just as the governor was. Just as many of I think the Hudson County legislators were, being that, you know, Chivarati had a prominent position within in the state, you know. So I believe the city council president, she will challenge him. That's the name I keep hearing, that Sharon will challenge him. But now we're going to see whether or not 3rd term is hard in Bayonne. You know, you're going to see that contingent of people that were with Davis the first time, right? Now it seems like they're with Sharon, and that would be Chivarati, That also would be probably Joe DeMarco. And now it looks like Erica Daughtry, who's an operative in her own right. So Bayonne's going to be very interesting within the next 18 months, I would say, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. So when we're talking about the Peninsula City, I mean, we just discussed those bold moves that he's made in the past couple months. What do you make of this? You think he's just trying to assert himself as a power mayor, or like how would you assess his moves?
You know what? Bobby Jackson said something to me years ago, right? He said to me, people get elected, right? And once they get elected, they talk to everyone that helped them get there. They have their head down there, Nah. Then it comes to a point, he called it the political big head, where they don't talk to advisors or anything anymore. It's like they think they have it all worked out, right? You have to really ask yourself, Mayor Davis doesn't seem like a lifer in politics as far as someone who's going to look to move to higher offers, let's say, right? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of baffling to me what the end game is for him, right? But I do believe it's a case with him of loyalty also. I think that he heard some things he didn't like as far as Assembly and Chivarati possibly running a candidate or possibly himself looking to run for mayor. I don't think he liked the fact that Bayonne has been viewed as Assemblyman Chivarati was basically the power broker there, So that comes into that type of jealousy and everything, So the end game with Mayor, it's baffling. I don't see how you sever these relationships like with Menendez, with Ceres, with Chivarati, and now with two of your council looking like they're not going to be on your ticket. It's going to be very interesting. I really don't know what his end game is. I really don't.
Well, we're a lifetime away. We're still nearly 11 months away. But if you had to call it today, you think he still has the advantage?
I would say yes. Because incumbency means something, I mean, I think that he will have the support of Mayor Fulop in Jersey City. I think he will have that support. I think I think that there's a new movement of voters starting to align in Bayonne, right? And they seem like they're very supportive of Davis. I mean, the African-American vote, it seems like it hasn't always been active in Bayonne or pushing a political agenda. Now you have young African-American progressives. They were very much behind the candidacy of Sampson, right? So I think you'll see new blood starting to basically want to push Davis along. So I think right now you would definitely say he has the advantage, especially what happened at the reorg meeting. I mean, he basically went unopposed.
Correct. Okay, well, look, we're obviously going to keep our eye on that as the days go on. So let's talk just for a second about the Jersey City Committee. There was 56 contested seats, 53 of those identified with progressive groups, some with larger ones than others. But overall, what's your takeaway? I mean, most of those wins were in Wardy, but give us your thoughts.
Well, I think basically it goes to tell you that they're, especially downtown, right? I would say that they were pushed by the Wardy councilman, James Solomon. I think he did a great job at basically getting his committee people out there, getting them engaged in the community, where the operatives that are basically trying to run the Wardy or whatever with the Jersey City Democratic Organization, I don't think they were prepared. I don't think they were ready for that challenge. I don't think they realized how organized he is and he was, right? So now there's a big challenge. Me personally, do you still mount? Do you still think that you can defeat Solomon down there? It seems like he has a stronghold on committee seats, right? But also, Wardy is one of these wards that is very choppy. When I say it's choppy, is that you have the Van Bosch, you have the Hamilton, you have the Newport area, you have the Villa still. So it'd be very interesting to see what other candidates possibly enter the race, right? So I would say it has to be somewhat disarming, being that it is the mayor's basically, it was his home ward at one time. So to lose those committee seats like that, I think it's kind of disturbing. I think they thought it would be competitive, but I don't think they thought Solomon would do as well as he did.
Very good, Bruce. Before we come back, we're just going to hear a word from our sponsors. We'll be just give us a moment here.
Hudson Regional Hospital, we promise to be prepared for your emergency.
We promise to provide world-class robotic surgical care.
We promise to treat you like family.
To provide accurate diagnostic care.
To provide the most innovative orthopedic care at your doorsteps.
We promise to treat your baby like our own.
To never stop investing in the best of spinal care.
To be with you every step of the way.
Here at Hudson Regional Hospital, we promise to take care of our community.
A brand new truck isn't just a brand new truck when it's tough enough to have best-in-class available payload and smart enough to know that a cab can also be an office. A truck equipped with best-in-class available towing that asks, why can't all that power more than just this truck? No, your brand new truck isn't just a brand new truck when it's the all-new F-150. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Hudson County View live and uncut. John Arhitis, and I'm still here with Hudson County Chronicles publisher Bruce Alston. So Bruce, let's dig a little deeper into the committee races. So first of all, there was some allegations after the fact that some of these committee members should not have been on the ballot because of either unaffiliated or Republican statuses. Now the city clerk refuted the majority of those, but you looked at some of those claims, I'm sure, like a lot of us insiders did. And what was your takeaway?
Same old Jersey City. It's always either somebody wants to use a nickname on the ballot or something. Same old Jersey City, happens at every time. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure we're possibly going to see some challenges. There's even some residency concerns with some people now stating that this committee person really doesn't live there, this, that, and the other thing. So, I mean, it's just the same old Jersey City. I call it political funny season. That's all it is. It's political funny season. How far it's going to go, we'll see. I mean, is it really worth challenging committee seats? We'll have to wait and see. But I don't think it's anything major is going to come out of it.
That seems like probably a fair assessment. The reorg on Monday, that'll probably be the time where we see any action, if there's going to be action. So, we'll certainly keep a close eye on that. So let's go back to Ward E. After what happened on the primary, what do you give the chances of Chief Municipal Prosecutor Jay Cudnut, who's of course running against Solomon?
He's got a lot of work to do. I think he knew that in the very beginning. He has a lot of work to do. I've been one highly critical of Solomon somewhat in Ward E, right? But there's no denying that he's formidable and he does have a base down there. I think Jake is going to have to reestablish himself as far as in the community. I think that a lot of Jake's work done as the municipal prosecutor, right? If you look at some of the things he's done, they're to be applauded, right? But they also, as you can say, are maybe not issues that residents of Ward E really were taking a notice at. Like Jake was fighting things from his municipal prosecutor seat as the housing issues, right? Housing violations, making sure that the south side of the city mainly, right, where development is really rapidly going. He's been really putting a concentrated effort in that area. I think now Jake's going to have to roll back to somewhat of the candidate he was in 2017, right? Now he has the endorsement of the mayor. He's with the team, right? So he should have the money and resources to get his message out there, right? But I think he has a lot of work to do, especially after the committee races. And you saw out after the campaign turnout, right? That Solomon has basically surrounded himself with activiticians. You know what I mean? Activists who are very political, right? And that's gonna emerge his campaign some, So I think they have a lot to do in Ward E.
All right, very good, Bruce. So let's talk about the two new candidates that we heard from this week. So one was Vernon Richardson, who, of course, everybody knew was the top staffer for late Ward D Councilman Michael Young, who now works for Mayor Fulop. And we also heard from June Jones, who heads that Morris Canal Development Group, the president, and she'll be running at large. So what do you think about their respective chances if they do put their name on the ballot?
Well, I'll start with Vernon first. Right? I've known Vernon for a very long time. Articulate. I knew in the past we've chatted somewhat about him potentially years ago, possibly entering into the Ward F race, right? I think if I woke up today and saw that Vernon Richardson was running, and if I'm Frank Gilmore or Jermaine Robinson, I'd be very concerned at this point. And the reason why I say that is this, though. you look at that potential, that Ward F downtown vote, right? I would say those voters would possibly really look at Vernon Richardson somewhat like they did the gentleman that ran for governor, Jim Johnson, right? I think he's someone that they saw the relationship he had with Young. He's had a track record, I believe, of working with Solomon through Young when he was a staffer, right? So I think his candidacy will be very appealing, right? So he basically takes out an area of voters, right, that I believe Frank Gilmore was trying to attract, right, through his relationship with Solomon, right? But also a lot of those voters in the past went with Fulop and went with Jermaine. This is what I'm hearing, right? I hear a lot of those voters down there saying, I'm not voting for Robinson. That's key. I'm not voting for Robinson. They may be saying that downtown, but what they're not saying is, I'm not voting for Robinson, but I'm voting for Gilmore. You see, now you have a third candidate come in, right? And these are educated voters down there. And they're gonna look at someone like Vernon, you're gonna look at his resume is very impressive, right? It seems like he might come across to those voters as the man of reason with seasoning, right? That can stop this personal attack, it seems like, that's been going on between Robinson and Gilmore, and say, you know what, this might be our best option. Now, name recognition means a lot, especially in the African American community. Sadly to say, a lot of voters see that last name Richardson, they think of Viola Richardson, they think of Lorenzo Richardson, you know? So I believe now, when you come up on the Hill, right, in a predominantly Martin Luther King Drive area, Ocean Avenue, and someone like Vernon is out there, right? I think people are really going to take a look at that candidacy. I think a lot of these voters are not happy with Robinson, not happy with the tone of Gilmore's campaign, right? Hey, this could be an upset in Ward F.
All right, so you think he's a very live dog?
I think he's an incredible human being, right? I think Vernon is more substance than a lot of other candidates. Meaning that he can rise above the rhetoric. He's not doing the Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier thing that looks like Robinson and Gilmore going through, right? Where he's going to look as the statesman, as the one that you possibly want to represent you. And if I was both these candidates, right, I would really rethink how I'm running my campaign right now.
All right, thanks, Bruce. I'm actually gonna come back to one more thing, but before that, we are gonna take a commercial. Be right back.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in 10 high-rise rental towers with amenities such as the on-site Newport Path subway, light rail and ferry service, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Sears, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams Supermarket is just outside your front door. A health and fitness club, spa, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. NewportNJ.com. Enjoy the New York skyline from Newport Town Square. Manhattan is just one path stop away or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Want to visit Newport? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. Go to NewportNJ.com for details. Newport has luxurious towers, great restaurants, shopping, New York skyline views, schools, playgrounds, a marina and yacht club, gym, spa, fine wine, fine living. It's incredible. It's you. NewportNJ.com. Newport, live like you want.
Hudson County View live at Uncut. John R. Highness, and I'm still with Hudson County Chronicles publisher Bruce Alston. So Bruce, quickly, there was 2 things we wanted to touch on. First, your thoughts on June Jones' candidacy.
Oh, June Jones is a Ward F, lifer, right? She's very well known in the community, right? And I think we're going to see how she does citywide. I think that if she definitely had jumped in the Ward F race like she was contemplating, I think she probably would be the front runner right now, right? But we're going to see how she does citywide. I think, June is very strong in her beliefs. She's very independent, and she's someone that people are going to definitely take a look at her candidacy.
All right, very good. Now, on a last point, and this is why I didn't want to let you go yet, coincidentally, just a little over an hour before we went on air, there was a report from New Jersey Globe, and the Senate President, Steve Sweetie, and George Norcross, of course, the notorious South Jersey power broker, came to Jersey City just yesterday, met with the state senators, Brian Stack and Sandra Cunningham, Assemblywoman McKnight, Assemblywoman Chaparro, Assemblyman Mukherjee, Ed Travelati, and there was more, but you get the point. And they were already talking about 2025 and the candidacy of Steve Sweetie, and how Steve Fulop won't be a viable candidate from their perspective. What do you think about all that?
Well, I think that Norcross precedes his reputation. It shows he's very aggressive, right? And I think he was trying to send Fulop a message like, I'm going to campaign in your backyard, you know? Basically telling him, I'm going to stay out of your local mayoral race, right? But we all know that there's potentially Steve, the mayor, be looking to run for mayor.
Governor,
I think we have to understand also is that Sweeney has a relationship with Brian Stack. He has a relationship with Senator Cunningham, right? It remains to be seen. We thought we were going to see this race between these titans back in 2017. It's going to get interesting. It's going to get nasty. It's going to be aggressive, right? But now I wouldn't be surprised to see after this election the move Fulop makes. I mean, I think he's all in with Leroy Jones, right? I think he's all in with Ras Baraka. So I think Fulop's thing is this. It's always been Passaic, Essex, and Hudson. It's obvious Norcross feels as though he might not be able to secure his home county. We'll see. I mean, the mayor, I believe, knows that if he wants to run statewide, he has to strengthen his relationships with some people around the state. It's too early, right? But let you guys already know, there's work already being done, for 2025, win or lose, regardless if Murphy wins or loses. So we'll see. We'll see.
Bruce, thank you so much. Always a pleasure to talk shop with you.
John, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. We're not done yet, but we are going to take one more break.
Pinto Properties, Jersey City. Shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces that address your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintoproperties.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Hudson County View, live and uncut. Chad Arhitis. So, hurry up offense here, but let's talk a little bit about what's happening in Harrison. I mean, obviously, we don't talk a lot about West Hudson, but unfortunately, we have some sad news that came out just yesterday. We heard that Officer Elizabeth Dela Cruz unfortunately passed away after complications due to a medical procedure. So, unfortunately, I don't have a whole ton more information about that, but we could tell you what the police department said and just give you a bit of an overview on her career and her life, really. So, Officer Dela Cruz served in the United States Marine Corps, a Harrison police officer, and a devoted mother. She served her country and her community with pride and passion. Her bright smile and contagious laugh will be deeply missed. Rest in the sweetest peace, Officer Dela Cruz, and watch over us all. And there's a heart emoji there as well. And if you read through the comments on Instagram or Facebook, I mean, there were hundreds of them, and they were all, just so positive. A lot of people just reflecting on her that positive energy, I guess, really, for lack of a better term. A lot of people just, what a pleasure she was to work with, to be friends with, to be related to. So, it's a really sad story. Unfortunately, we didn't get her age, but as you can see from the photo, she was obviously very young and a relatively new member of the force. But, as far as that goes, she graduated Lincoln High School in Jersey City before receiving her bachelor's degree from John Jay College in Manhattan. She became a full-time Harrison police officer in 2018. And, unfortunately, again, we don't really have a whole lot more info. I can tell you that the department did hold a candlelight vigil right in their driveway of the police HQ, that is, last night. So, this is something that, no one was expecting, just unfortunately something that happened. So, the best way I could leave it is just thoughts and prayers with the Dela Cruz family and the Harrison Police Department. Very sorry for your loss. So, on a less somber note, back to policy-related stories. Let's talk a little bit what's going on at WWOR TV. And this is based out of Secaucus. And this is actually federal legislation, but it's right here in our backyard where the impact would be felt if this goes through. So we heard from Senators Menendez and Booker, as well as U.S. Rep. Bill Pascrell. And they have introduced what they're calling, excuse me, just one moment here, a bill that would basically enforce, I guess would be a better word, the rules on the books from the FCC to make sure that WWOR TV provides local news coverage, which, as you know, doesn't happen anymore. They had Chasing News for about 7 years or so, and that's something that was more of a TMZ style show. They did talk about news, but it was a lot of New York and a little bit of Pennsylvania as well. They dropped the Chasing New Jersey moniker after a few years and ended up doing that. So I think the bottom line is this. I think Senator Menendez sums it up quite succinctly by saying holding an FCC broadcast license is a privilege, not a right, but one that in turn requires the television station holding that license to provide meaningful news coverage. Our bill gives the FCC more teeth to go after stations like WWOR, force them to live up to their obligations, and hold them accountable to the people and communities they are licensed to serve. So with that, just one more before we call it a week here. Like I said, there was a lot going on in Bayonne, which has been typical for most of this year, right? But this one I think is a little different. It's not exactly nitty-gritty politics, but, well, let me just tell you. So I mentioned this at the top of the program, but there was a $4 million waste removal contract that went to A&L Disposal LLC. Obviously, you guys that pay attention know the waste removal contracts are pretty expensive, but one of the co-owners donated an over $64,000 truck, well, actually money to purchase a truck for OEM, and that led to quite a bit of infighting between the administration and the council president. So the donation was approved on May 12th. The contract was then approved on June 16th, and the council president says she felt uncomfortable, and so she abstained on the contract because Joe Belowski is one of the people that is the co-owners of A&L Disposal. Now, according to Law Director Jay Coffey, though, there was no pay-to-play violation, and this gift was actually rescinded before the contract was given. So he says, insofar as the purpose of the law is to provide oversight of political contributions as they apply to contracts awarded outside the state's fair and open contract award process, neither of which occurred here, I believe that this donation was rescinded out of an abundance of caution by the contractor's attorney. Some interesting comments on Facebook there if you want to take a deeper dive. But with that, we're going to call it a week. Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you soon.